You are listening to the Nothing Podcast with nobody important, where a group of nobodies sit down with an actual somebody. And now your hosts, John and Frank. Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm John.
I'm Frank.
And you are listening to the Nothing Podcast.
With nobody important.
And it's Halloween,
Our
baby.
spooktacular podcast.
It's spooky. I always like to say anything around Halloween is ooh, makes it spooky. You know, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, it is Halloween. Are you excited?
Oh, I love Halloween.
Me too.
I
You know
love
who
it.
really loves Halloween? Our guest this week,
Oh.
John Hernandez.
We have John Hernandez?
Yes.
I've heard of this guy.
I call him a horror expert. He
Sure,
doesn't want to
yeah.
be called that. He's a horror fanatic. But let me tell you something. He knows his stuff.
He makes me nervous.
He shouldn't. He's so sweet.
Okay.
Like honey. He's a horror fan. He's an Instagram influencer.
Yeah.
He has a whole bunch of stuff in the works. And really, he knows his stuff.
And he's a super cool guy.
Absolutely. And so we talked a lot in this episode about Halloween. Everything we love about Halloween. We talked about our favorite candies. You know, we didn't get to talk about our favorite Halloween decorations. Frank, what's your favorite Halloween decoration?
Okay, everybody had it as a kid. It might have been a witch. It might have been a pumpkin. It might have been a mummy. But when you pushed it, it went like this. Right?
Yep,
Yeah.
that's the one.
I hated that one.
That's the one. Sometimes it's got glowing eyes,
Yeah,
or it was
yeah.
motion censored, and you'd walk through, and it would do it. My favorite Halloween decoration was always the cat. That they must have recorded this cat in the 20s. When you walk by or when you squeeze it, it goes. I don't know why. I don't know what that cat was, but whatever it is, it's long dead.
Yeah.
So we got into talking about a lot of fun Halloween stuff, and I think you guys are gonna really enjoy it.
I think it's a really fun episode. It's also sort of, it's very sentimental, I think, to us. Because I think
Completely.
everyone links Halloween to their childhood somehow. So it's a warm, fuzzy,
Spooky.
bloodthirsty, spooky episode.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
So let's get into it with this week's guest.
John Hernandez, and I'm a horror fanatic.
All right, so here we are. Happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween.
It is Halloween today. Boy, how about that weather yesterday?
Something
Crazy.
It
really-
was what I would call pre-Halloween weather.
Yeah, definitely.
Crisp.
Def.
Crisp.
Yeah.
And we are here to talk all things spooktastic with our special guest this week, John Hernandez, the horror fanatic.
Whoa.
How are you, John?
Great, thanks guys for having me. Happy Halloween.
Oh, you sound so spooky already.
He gets it.
So, you're a horror fanatic.
Yes, sir.
This is the time of year for you.
Oh, yes.
You thrive here?
I thrive, but Halloween is every day for people like me.
Wow.
I believe that to be true. Are you one of those people that has a black Christmas tree?
I have a black Halloween tree up all year round, actually.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
So how do you decorate a black Christmas tree?
Well, you know, I typically use innards of animals and assorted,
Hearts,
Oh, God.
tiny hearts and tiny lungs.
of course, anything macabre and spooky.
I love it. It
Wow.
makes the house smell bad, but
yeah,
it's worth
well,
it.
it's worth it.
Hey, should we go around and describe the Halloween costumes we're all wearing?
Yeah. Matt, what are
Okay.
you wearing?
I'm wearing my usual Halloween costume, my daily clothes.
Oh, very good. Very
Okay.
good. That's
That's
cool.
what that is?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh.
Danielle, what are you wearing?
I am a pink lady from Grease 2.
Oh, beautiful.
Specifically, Stephanie Zanoni.
Oh, so you're the one that nobody's seen.
That's right.
Ah, okay.
Oh, Stephanie Zanoni.
Frank, I love your skin tight bodysuit.
Yeah, I, it was hard to get into it.
Yeah.
But I put so much cornstarch on my body, I took a running dive, and I'm in it now for the next
I'm
year.
not gonna lie, I'm into it.
Thanks.
Yeah, and Tom, what are you dressed as today?
Hot Topic.
Oh.
Just hot topic.
The store.
Dressed as the Dayglow posters from the back of the Hot Topic.
What do we think? Should we ask John what he's dressed as, or should we just describe what he's wearing?
I think we should each say a piece that he's wearing.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Matt, what's your favorite part?
I like the purple sombrero.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, Frank?
The flippers.
Yeah, the flippers are really nice. Danielle?
I like the glitter eyeshadow.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I like the prosthetic tongue.
Ah.
What about you, Tom?
It's a beautiful cape. It is a beautiful cape. John, it's fantastic.
Thank you. I have a secret. It's not a prosthetic.
And I'm, of course, dressed as a nudist. So listen, this is the horror time, right?
Yep.
Everything's crisp in the fall, like we said before. But how do you... when did you first get into horror? What makes a horror fanatic, and how did you get into it?
You know, it's very big on nostalgia. So I remember very distinctly being a little boy, and my dad was very into horror movies and Halloween. And that's kind of one of the main things that we bonded with. So I remember distinctly watching VHS or whatever was on TV, usually Halloween, Freddy Krueger, Michael Myers. And, you know, my dad used to like to slip into the next room and put on some horrible mask, run in and scare us.
Oh.
And I guess I got addicted to the feeling. So
Wow.
I've been into it ever
That's
since.
a pretty concise, that's a
So
good
John's
answer.
basic answer is daddy issues. John, I have a follow-up question
Correct.
for you. Now, so when you're going after a horror movie, are you looking to be scared, or are you looking to see how they're trying to scare you?
To be honest, more like how they're trying to scare me. I think I'm way beyond, you know, the days when they used to actually scare me, but it's still a lot of fun.
So you don't get scared anymore, really.
I wish. I mean, I've put myself in like haunt situations, which is also popular this time of the year. Danielle can tell you. And we kind of pray to get scared, but it just usually doesn't happen.
It doesn't work.
I mean, and I've went to like some extreme ones. I forget what the name of the house was called, but they literally zip tied my hands behind my back and put a bag over my head.
Oh.
And led us through the haunted house, and even that.
But you can't get past the idea that they're not really going to hurt me.
I think that's what it is.
What if
Now,
they-
now, this was at R. Kelly's house, or whose house were you in for
You
this?
sounded so disappointed, John. You're like, so you really weren't that scared. Huh? But I do have to ask you a question.
Sure.
There was a documentary on Netflix. I don't know if it's still on. I know the look on your face. I think you know what I'm talking about.
I
where
do.
the only payment is dog food because there's a Greyhound Foundation, but they literally. It's like borderline torture, or at this point, it is torture. They waterboard you, they'll suffocate
torture,
you. It's in Texas, right?
Yeah, I saw the same documentary. I can't remember what it's called, but it is the most extreme one.
Oh, I know. It's
I
called
thought it-
Guantanamo Bay.
I thought it was in San Francisco.
Or yeah, one or the other. But let me ask though, because you said you got zip tied. Would you do it?
Would I do it? It's more torture, not so scary. You know what I mean? And you know, honestly, that's like a Wednesday night for me. So it's too easy. So
He's like, I eat the dog food all the time.
you know,
And we
hey.
should also bring up the fact that Tom is a horror fanatic in his own right, but a different kind of horror fanatic. And we're going to get into that in a little bit. But I have a feeling that we're going to get lost in some conversations between Tom and John here on this
We'll step out when
spooktacular.
that happens.
Yeah, definitely.
I got a big memory card in this thing.
No, I don't think I could do any of the torture stuff. I don't even understand how that falls into the haunted house
yeah, I agree.
category. Like, I know somebody who did the one where they make you eat raw, they make you eat rotten eggs
Yeah.
and stuff. Yeah.
People pay to do this?
Yeah, you know him.
Good money.
Yes.
Read a book.
He got the eggs, and he had to do the one where you have to sign the waiver. That's the one I
Yeah.
think in San Francisco. We have to sign the waiver.
Yeah. That's how I knew about
Yeah.
it.
So when it comes to horror movies, there are different genres, right? Now, this is kind of what I was alluding to with Tom. Like, Tom is really into, like, what would you say, like, B-movie, really
Shit, just
Right.
plain shit.
terrible, terrible across the board, like, horror movie with all, like, the ghosts, paranormal activity, and all that stuff. Now, you're into all that
All of it.
too. But I know you to be very slasher based.
Yes.
It's kind of where your bread and butter knife is.
That's correct.
Right.
That's where my heart is with the slashers.
So who's your favorite slasher? I mean, I know the answer, but
Michael Myers.
Michael
Okay.
Myers.
The king.
Now, why?
Again, it harkens back to childhood. I remember going trick-or-treating, and there was some dude just dressed in a Michael Myers mask, and he was doing the stalk walk, and as a little kid in the back of my dad's station wagon, we saw him, screamed, and started crying.
Wow.
So I guess the more traumatic the memory is.
What a nice
the more-
memory. I was
Yeah,
going to
Yeah,
say.
you know.
That's crazy. That's really weird. I mean, but you'd think it's probably one of the simpler ones to do, right? The jumpsuit and
Right,
the
yeah.
William Shatner mask.
Perfect, yes.
Did you know that was a William Shatner mask, Frank?
I did know that. That's correct. I
I'm
did.
impressed, guys.
Yeah,
I
see?
didn't.
You didn't? You didn't know that?
Yeah.
White William Shatner mask.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even know. Do you know the story about how they came across that? Why it's that?
Yeah, I mean, they had no money when they made the original film in '78. It was made on a budget of $300,000 from, what legend tells. And they went to like a 5 and dime kind of costume store, bought a bunch of masks, and they were, kind of just trying them on. Nothing was really working. So I believe the guy's name is Tommy Lee Wallace, went in and kind of played with a William Shatner mask that was out at the time, kind of stretched out the eye holes, spray painted it white. And when they tested it on set, everybody agreed that was the creepiest one. It came down to that and a clown mask.
Imagine if it was a Bill Cosby mask. It would have so much more significance now.
I mean,
That would really be something
It's
else.
terrible now.
That's a real horror movie.
yeah.
All right, I guess it's a good thing that William Shatner kind of stayed on the up and up,
Thank God.
He always terrified me, Michael Myers. I mean, I could never get into the Austin Powers. I could never get into... Oh.
Chest hair.
It's a different...
It's a different.
Go ahead, Frank. You have a question.
I would just like to talk about childhood Halloween experiences.
Yeah, sure.
And I think this is a common one we're all going to share, of having a really good costume. You know where I'm going with this? Having a great costume. You're proud. You're psyched. And then your mom makes you wear your coat over it.
Oh!
No! I'm Gomez
Yeah.
Adams in a North Face.
No.
No.
And you know me, I was the same way then that I am now. I would refuse to wear the coat. Like, the character doesn't wear the coat at any point.
Yeah.
If you could find me a coat that he wears in the movie, then I'll wear that coat, but that's it.
I can completely see that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I need to do that.
We should come up with a horror movie character, make a franchise, and part of his thing is a coat. You see what I'm saying?
He's really warm.
Oh my God, you would make so much money.
Yeah. We'd put it all. Yeah, I like that.
What's a good name for him, John?
Parental advisory.
But, wow,
Wow,
Tom.
thanks, Tom.
All right,
Okay,
listen.
Cool. Quick, everybody shit on Tom.
Do you have a least favorite horror movie?
A least favorite horror movie.
This is one I don't know the answer to.
A least favorite. That's tough.
Like one you just couldn't get into.
I just saw one recently that called Pieces, which is a B horror movie, and it was terrible. It was a horror movie made in Spain, and they were trying to mimic American sensibilities of the 70s.
Oh.
And it was dumb. Like they literally thought we smoked marijuana cigarettes and fucked on waterbeds. That was kind of like a big premise, and a big murder scene is set up around that.
We don't.
I mean, it's true, but I didn't like seeing it on screen. You know?
Right.
Rude.
Tom, have you seen that one?
I have.
What?
Oh, now he doesn't want to talk.
Let me tell you something. For a sound engineer, you have the worst. Take a minute. Gonna bring the mic all the way over here.
Sorry.
Did it again.
Did you like it, Tom?
No.
Oh, okay, good. So we're on the same page. It's a terrible movie.
Yeah, it's pretty god awful.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question about a movie I'm too scared to see, but I really want to see it? Hereditary.
Wow.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I liked it. It's one of those. It's a little more artsy, fartsy. It's not like your,
Typical in your face.
yeah, slash and grab. So it was a little too highbrow for my taste. But
Scary?
it is. It's creepy. Yeah,
It's creepy.
I did hear Midsummer, which
I saw that. That was good.
I heard it was good.
I like Midsummer better than Hereditary.
And that's what I keep hearing. So Midsummer's one you should check out.
Same
first.
director.
To be fair, it's isn't it Midsummer? How is that spelled? It's not summer.
Midsommar.
Isn't it,
Cool.
Tom?
So I'll say, and you know this about me, I am a huge baby child when it comes to horror movies.
Chicken.
Yeah. I can't come near them. The stress level that comes to me when I'm sitting in the movie theater, it's that feeling. You ever get on a ride that you don't want to get on, and then the wheels start moving, and you think to yourself, well, I'm here now.
Yeah.
And I can't go anywhere. But if given the opportunity, I would be literally anywhere else. That's me when I sit down in a movie theater to watch even the most thriller of movies.
You're in a movie theater, though. You can get up and leave.
I can't get up and leave. I paid the money.
Hey, remember when you saw Smallfoot when we went and saw Halloween.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
They
a
all went to
true
see the new
story.
Halloween, and I went by myself, me and 2 teenage girls, to watch Smallfoot, the animated movie starring Channing Tatum. When they went to see Halloween, it was playing at the same time, and it was me alone in the theater watching Smallfoot.
With 2 young girls.
Yeah, I kind of was mad they came in. I wanted to be alone.
The girls thought it was a horror movie with you sitting there.
Yeah. They were like, "There's something weird about this guy watching Smallfoot." No, I can't do it. I went to see 10 Cloverfield Lane, which I loved, but I was gripping the chair. And that's not even a horror movie.
Yeah, that's
it's
more
like
sci-fi thrillery.
and I was not for it. When I saw the first Cloverfield, which now we've reached both horror films I've seen in the movie theater, and that's it. The first Cloverfield, I got up and left. I had to leave. It was too real for me. And everyone's like, the movie about the giant monster? But I live in New York. If there's a terrible thing that happens, you go in the subway, you're walking through the subway. It was too much. The found footage, I had to leave. And then I came back.
So I just want to ask, jumping off what he said, I feel personally that for horror fans, there's at least 1 or 2 movies we can pick out that gave us a sense of feeling, like that tense feeling, right? Where we've seen thousands of them, but there's always going to be 2 or 3 that stand out. We went, oh shit,
Yeah.
and then that feeling has never like repeated itself. So can you share with us what I have 2, but I want to hear what yours are. The 2 or 3, whichever it is that you were like, oh boy, I don't know if I'm going to make it through in a good way.
Yes. See, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That like high you get. The first one that ever scared me to death like that, again, was when I was a kid. It was Halloween 3, which, as you know, is not the one with Michael Myers in it. They were gonna
I know that.
I didn't know that.
They were gonna make it an anthology series, so they were trying something new for the third one, and it was kind of about like an evil
Season of the Witch?
Yes, yes, sir. Season of the Witch. Wow, John.
Yeah.
I'm impressed, man. It was about an evil Celtic mask maker that wanted to kill all children on Halloween night. And the part that scared me was when the kid had the mask on and his head melted into like all the bugs and snakes and stuff. As a little kid, I did not sleep for weeks. My mom had to invent a thing called the Lucky Penny for me to sleep with under my pillow.
Oh my God, your mother invented the
My
Lucky
mom-
Penny? I've heard of Lucky Pennies.
It worked like a charm because I would not sleep. I would cry. But again, like when I think about that, I wish I could get that scared again. It's tough.
And
but
funny about that movie, which I find, you said you liked it?
yeah.
Okay. I would say the only way it makes it Halloween isn't there a scene where you do see Michael Myers' mask, like a kid's wearing it?
I think they kind of flash to in that world, Michael Myers' Halloween is a movie, and they show it on the TV screen like they're watching it. So yeah, it was meta before meta was a thing. And then speaking of which, the other time I had a really big reaction was Scream because I was a teenager in the movie theaters. Yeah.
What a good movie to,
especially
seeing the theaters.
John, that's kind of horror light in a way.
I watched it with
funny.
you. I've watched it with you.
We have?
Yeah, I think you were really drunk. It was
Possible.
no. I think I was the only one paying attention too. But the only time I've actually seen Scream was at your house. You put it on in the background, and I got really into it because then you guys were saying that Danielle is Gale Weathers.
That's right.
Totally.
And then
Was
we were
Courtney
saying,
Cox? Who plays Gale Weathers?
yeah.
Courtney Cox.
Yeah.
And then you gave me the ultimate compliment of saying that I would have been Gale Weathers' cameraman. Which
Oh, did I?
yes.
Oh, I'm a shitty person.
Sorry.
And then at the very end he died and I'm like, no! He almost made it.
Oh, it could have been you.
No, I think he'd be a good Dewey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Officer Dewey.
Yeah, Frank's more of a Dewey, I think. He just looks the part.
Thanks, guys.
But not Scary Movie Dewey.
No,
No, not Doofy.
not Doofy. Legit Dewey.
No, so I really enjoyed Scream, but that's how I have to watch it.
With people?
With people talking around me, and then I make fun of it. I watched It the same way. The new
Yes.
It. I watched it in a room full of people.
That's another good one. No.
Nah, I didn't see chapter 2, but
I didn't either.
I was not a fan of the chapter
Really?
1.
I liked it, but again, I watched it half volume with a room full of people. So
Yeah.
Wow.
But Scream it's so good because it's more of a, I don't say it's more of a comedy, but it definitely gives you a sense, it gives you a breather.
Yes.
Or when it is scary, it's funny,
Yeah.
which I find so hard, such a difficult mix in a horror movie. That's why before we started recording, we were talking about Evil Dead.
Yeah.
And Evil Dead to Army of Darkness. Well, Evil Dead 2 kind of started that comedy.
Yeah.
But it's such a awesome blend, and there's so many. I don't know. I think Army of Darkness, if you haven't seen it, John, or even Evil Dead 2.
That's the one with the stop motion skeletons.
Yeah, they're barely horror
They're
movies.
yes. That's a movie. It's a horror movie. I put those in quotes because it still has a little bit of scary. Like the main villain is evil. Evil Ash, but it's really good. There's so many lines you can repeat, or you will start repeating from day in and day out during Halloween. Cool.
All right, now. I'm talking a lot in this episode.
Frank, what are your? We knew that's why he's here. What?
Thanks.
I got it. Okay, my favorite. I do like horror movies. My favorite genre of horror movie growing up, it was the Stephen King miniseries that would be on like ABC, and it was the only two that, and there were more than two, but it's Rose Red, which is, do you remember all the ghost hunters in the big mansion?
No, I'm.
Oh my god,
it
it was a 6-parter.
ABC,
Rose
right, you
Red,
said?
I think so.
Yeah.
And there was like the paranormal. They're all paranormal. Who was a psychic who could move things with their mind, and they're all there with this doctor to study Rose Red, which is this mansion. And horrible things happen. There's a girl who I believe is autistic who's in the house with them, but she perceives things, and they all start dying in the house.
Whoa.
I was obsessed with it. You could buy the script. I was obsessed. That one, and then there was another Stephen King one. Something with the storm. And they're all trapped.
Storm of the Century.
Storm of the Century with Limoges, who's like the guy with he has the silver-tipped walking stick, and he shows up on this island. It's in Maine because it's Stephen King, and they're all snowed in because it's Stephen King, and he wrecks havoc on this island, just this guy, and he divides the town, and he wants to take all the kids. The best. It was the best.
You love a good heady Stephen King.
I love it. I do. Misery. Have you
seen The
Misery
Mist?
is great.
I think I did see The Mist.
The Mist is a
it's awesome.
I think
devastating movie.
It comes in over the water.
No,
what's
That's the fog.
That's the fog.
Both Stephen King.
No, that's John Carpenter who did Halloween.
Okay.
Right.
Oh, with the bodies coming up out of the.
Yes.
What's that one?
Out of the swamp.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is.
You know, a horror movie I've seen. Well, I can't say I've seen the whole thing. I've seen a lot of parts of it, but Danielle's never seen, because Danielle's a pretty good horror buff herself.
Oh, she is.
Has never seen The Thing. John Carpenter's The Thing.
Yep.
What is that? Is that like the
It's
Blob?
the one. No, the Blob used to scare the hell out of me as a kid. The Thing is a group of scientists like in the Arctic, and they're trapped in there with a monster that's a shapeshifter.
Yeah, that's
and
cool.
one of them is the Thing, and they don't know which one. It keeps changing. And then they have the test with the fire, and then somebody's head falls off and crawls away. It's pretty gross.
If one of us was the Thing right now, I think it's Matt.
I would say it's Matt. And then Matt just leans into the mic and goes, "Ah!"
I'll take that as a compliment.
Yeah.
I want to say though, bringing up The Thing, I feel that what pisses me off about horror movies now is the reliance on CGI makeup or effects as opposed to practical effects. Like The Thing is such a perfect example of really good like practical creature makeup.
Yes.
Or
But it's terrifying. It's like a mixture of practical horror and like body horror.
right. And like they always bring up American Werewolf in London.
Oh,
right?
sure.
That whole face transformation, it's incredible. Like the movie museum in Astoria, I believe has certain like they have The Exorcist. They have her on display, and then they have the motor where her head spins. It's so ingenious, and it's just annoying because I know CGI is more cost effective, but that's why for me personally as a horror. I don't want to say buff, but as a horror lover, watching something like it, where I didn't get scared because I was like, you can clearly tell you get pulled out of this world because you're like, oh well, that's some CGI bullshit.
You can see the ones and zeros in there.
He's absolutely right. In fact, I don't know if you've seen this, but one that has great practical effects that's like very modern is Terrifier. It's on Netflix.
Oh, here we
So
go.
good.
He was talking about Terrifier last week. We should
yeah.
go home.
So good.
Yeah, I would say that was another one when I first saw it. I was like, that got a reaction out of me because that hacksaw scene, I don't want to spoil it for our listeners, but that hacksaw scene's ridiculous in
So
the best
good.
possible way.
That means that I would die watching it. If it
might.
scared
Yeah,
you,
oh.
I would die.
It creeped me out.
It's creepy.
Yeah.
It's a little creepy.
It's a
and
movie?
it's extremely
It's a movie
violent.
called Terrify. It's a killer clown, and that sounds really simple, but these guys, and I met them at a convention back in June called Scarecon. So the guy that plays Art the Clown, it's a mute villain that never says one word. But the guy that plays him does all kind of mime and body work that makes him terrifying without needing to say anything. So
Skinny,
he's
lengthy,
really thin, and a really cool guy. And Damien Leone, who directed and wrote it, I fanboyed all over him at the convention, and they're great.
You see, the Steelbook came out. It's a beautiful Steelbook.
It is. I got they also released it on VHS, so
Yes,
I have a
that's
couple of versions on
nice.
VHS.
I have a couple of steelbooks for horror movies. I'm just letting you know, as a film collector, I have not seen a lot of horror movies, but I own plenty of them.
Do you really? Like which ones?
I have Purge. The Purge. I have the whole Purge series.
The Purge is good.
I have It Follows, the steelbook for It Follows.
That's a cautionary tale about like not being
Yeah.
slutty.
Yep.
I can't with that one.
No.
Sorry. That was not my favorite. People love it, not my favorite.
I have, I can't remember right now. Yeah, I'd have to look, but I have a number of horror movies. I almost got the new Halloween.
That was awesome.
Love, and there's another 2 coming. So like they got Jamie Lee Curtis to finish out the trilogy. So they're shooting Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends to come out. What is it? 2021 and 22, I think. So or
No, 2020.
next year,
yeah.
2020 and 2021.
We
So
gotta get you in one. That's what.
I wish. Like Richard, was with me at this Scarecon convention, and he was trying to get Damien Leone to like cast me in Terrifier 2. I was just, I love him. He's so good.
Yeah.
Love you, Richard.
I will say though, I'm a big fan of comedy horror.
Yeah.
That I love. Like, I love obviously like Young Frankenstein,
Oh, yeah.
which is not
Classic.
really a horror, but like, you know which one I've never seen? Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
That
I
is
want to see
hilarious.
that. I've been wanting to see that for a while. I've never gotten around to seeing it.
Super fun. A lot of body horror, but it's funny.
Yeah.
It's really funny.
What about we love it. The vampires.
Oh, What We Do in the Shadows.
Yes.
Very, very funny.
We started watching that on your recommendation.
Oh, did you?
Yes,
On the TV
enjoying
show?
it so far. I think
Yeah.
Richard went way beyond what I saw so far.
Yeah.
Rude. But
We
it's
obviously
great.
love Beetlejuice too.
Yeah. That's
There's a lot
fantastic.
of Halloween and horror themed movies that aren't necessarily horror movies. Like, what would you say is your favorite? Because you love Halloween, right? This is not just horror. We're into full Halloween mode here. What is
yeah.
your favorite non-horror Halloween movie? Would you say?
Hocus Pocus.
Yeah, I think
Of
that's
course it
that's
is.
gotta be.
I
Yeah.
mean, you gave me the steelbook.
That's right. I did. I watched the Steelbook last year. I really love Hocus Pocus. Do you like Hocus Pocus, Tom?
It's great, yeah. And
I feel like he was gonna say no.
Halloween Town.
Halloween Town.
Halloween Town,
R.I.P.
classic.
Debbie Reynolds. Oh.
That's right.
Oh yeah, rest in peace, Mona Sound.
What's your favorite Halloween movie, Frank? Jingle All the Way?
No, you know what I used to love when I was. My father was obsessed with. He wasn't obsessed with movies. He was obsessed, as you are in like the early '90s, with your laser disc player and your surround sound and the woofer that was so big. My mother kept a plant on it, right? And we had like the wood paneled wall with the hidden speakers in the corners. He was obsessed, right? Tremors
Wow.
on laser disc. I used to scare the shit out of me, and I used to love it. And the surround sound, like they'd come under the earth, they're like these big sandworms, and they'd like, ah! And they would listen to sound and vibration, right? And Kevin Bacon, it was hilarious. And they would like go around the room because it would like track through the speakers. The best.
That's
That was
wild.
it. Here's a Halloween question for you, John. So, what, in your opinion, is the cutoff age for trick or treaters? Like, you open the door, and how old does the kid have to be for you to go, oh,
Wow. I mean, I just came in from trick or treating, so
Oh, you do have a giant sack full of candy, right?
I got a sack full of something. Oh,
So you're not answering that?
no. I would say probably 14.
14.
See, I gotta disagree. I don't think there's a cutoff. If you show up and you're dressed up with a candy bag, I'm gonna give you candy.
You know
If you're
what?
not
You know, like
dressed,
a
go to
grown-
hell home.
A grown-ass man
not? I love candy. Everybody loves candy.
Well, do you know, like, to give you some, like, insight on, like, the history of trick-or-treating, like, originally it was part of the Samhain celebrations by the Celts, and adults would get dressed up, and kids, to kind of ward off the evil spirits, but they would go what's called souling, and they'd go around and put on little performances for people. So adults were technically trick-or-treating
Souling
back
is so
then.
much cooler than trick or
Yeah, because it was like soul cakes they would make, and they would either do a
love
little
soul
performance or offer souls for like the departed, and they would get like cakes and shit. So
That's
like
awesome.
adults used to
That's
like
so much better than what we
trick-or-treat.
do
Yeah.
now.
That's
So
crazy.
you know what? You're right, John. I take it back. There is no age limit.
But 14's a decent age. I was talking to Danielle. We were actually arguing about this the other day over breakfast because this is our life. I was saying that when I was a kid, I hated when I would go to a door, ring the bell, and someone would say, "What do you say?" No, I'm here. I'm dressed. Put the candy in the bag. I don't want to say any. What is this? Call and repeat, trick or treat? No, put the candy in the bag. If I want to say it, I'll say it. If I don't want to say it, don't make the kid say it. She disagrees. She thinks you need to say
I
it.
think you need to say it.
I'm gonna have to side with Danielle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you're just this little shitty kid just expecting it,
But
no, say it.
I wasn't showing up in a hoodie.
Yeah, that's
and
how you
like
get
shaving
millennials.
cream all over me.
Okay.
I was showing up in a costume. I just was a little shy. Ask me
Get
to do
you
an
out of the show.
ask me to do an
I was a
impression of
shy
somebody.
kid.
I will not do it.
Right. Okay.
Ask me to say trick or treat at the door. I will not do it. I'm capable. I just don't want to. Danielle said yesterday I don't sing ever for her. I don't know what to tell you. If it doesn't come to me naturally, I'm not going to do it. You can have faith.
I
You can
mean,
have faith.
fair
You want to
enough.
talk about your shame?
No.
Okay. I saw something on Facebook today. Hilarious. 3 guys. It's a picture. They were college guys. They dressed as old women one Halloween. Did anybody see this? And they went door to door, and they carried an actual door. So when they'd ring your bell, when you'd open the door, there'd be a door there, and it would say, "Please knock," and you'd knock, and they'd open it, and they'd say, "Oh, what are you dressed as?" And it was like, you knocked on their house.
That's
It's
fantastic.
So good. They carried a door to every house.
That's funny.
So good.
They were like,
So-
go away.
God. So funny.
I used to go trick or treating when I was a kid. I used to trick or treat, and I was only allowed to go to people's houses I knew. So I could maybe walk on this block a little bit, and on my block a little bit, and then my mom would drive me to the houses of the people I knew to ring the bell. I never was like bag full of candy. Were you that way, or did you were
No.
knock on everybody's door?
We knocked on anyone's door that would answer. Are you kidding? And we knew who gave like chocolate and all that stuff. I mean, you gotta plan your route. Like,
See, yeah, I was not allowed to do that.
yeah, no, there was a lady that gave full-size chocolate bars. In our
Bam, me
neighborhood.
too. I know that house still.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you ever get pennies?
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
they suck. Yeah.
Matt, you were on my side there. You weren't allowed.
We were allowed to basically walk down our block, walk down the block across the street, maybe around the corner if we knew somebody,
Yep.
and then
And that's
right
it.
back in the house.
Nope.
There was so much candy you didn't get.
But I will say, then later in life, the people I was hanging out with at the time, we would go trick or treating a lot. There was a kid involved there, not my kid. It was a kid. We'd go trick or treating with said kid, and we would go all the way down to not Park Slope, Marine Park, where it's wild out there. In that every block, you didn't knock on doors because they were all outside already. Tables set up, glasses of wine for the parents.
That's awesome.
Whole
That's
candy
great.
bars of like take one and move on in a bit. We would have sacks and sacks full of candy. It was crazy out there. So it was like a whole new world. Some people are really like nuts about it.
My favorite Halloween was I went to a friend who lived in a building in Rockaway, so like the gigantic apartment buildings, and they had a Halloween party for all the kids, and I had so much candy. We went to every door on every floor, and it was magnificent.
When I was probably around 10, we started visiting my cousins up in Connecticut because they lived in like a gated property. But Halloween, they shut all the lights off, and everybody has everybody goes outside and gives candy. So it was a much better experience than the 2 blocks in Brooklyn. A little bit quieter and different.
When Matt and I were in high school, we dressed up as the Blues Brothers.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. And we were about 14 as the Blues Brothers. So, I've always been the same way that I am now. And
We did dance though.
we danced out front of Matt's house. I try to forget it if I can. We went
Cool.
we went up to 13th Avenue because that's where you'd go because the pizzerias would give out candy around here. And we'd go up and we'd walk by, and there was a DJ. It was actually the DJ who's going to DJ our wedding.
Whoa.
And he gets on the thing and he goes, "Yeah, there they are, Blues Brothers," right? As we walk by. And then we came back the other way and he goes, "Yeah, there they are, Jews." And we...
Wow.
What?
we were Hasidic Jews.
Oh, God.
Although, to be fair, in the movie, the Blues Brothers at one point are referred to as Hasidic diamond salesmen. So...
Oh, so he was right.
He was right. He was not wrong. So we have a game that we want to play.
Oh, man.
That kind of goes right into this. And, you know, everybody gets different things, candy, whatnot, on Halloween. So just based on Halloween, not based on the candy, based on getting this candy at Halloween, you can give me a 1 to 10 or...
This is the rating game.
It's the rating game.
You've heard
you
of
could
it.
rate
I've
it
heard
1
of
to
this.
10. How many bloody knives you want to give it.
Cool.
How many whatever. Okay? You
All
understand
right.
the rules?
I understand.
Frank, you want to start?
Sure. So you go up to the door, you knock, nice lady there, you extend your bag, you got Reese's.
Oh, my God. 10 bloody knives.
Gold, right?
Yes, dripping with...
Reese's Pieces.
No,
Reese's
No,
Cups.
cups, baby,
Oh,
cups.
cups. You
Ten.
would do candy
good.
trading? Oh, forget it.
No. Reese's
The
Cups, number
whole
one.
individually wrapped full-size cup, one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
That
We
is
like the cups.
The best.
Okay, what about Mr. Goodbar? You know, the yellow one with the peanuts in it.
But now
6.
6.
A little boring.
Okay, so Mr. Goodbar is my favorite.
Oh, sorry,
chocolate.
John.
No. It's fair. It's been around since like the 1800s, so it's fine. Go ahead,
All right,
Frank.
this is not on the list. I'm going to add it, though, because it was my favorite. The tiny yellow box of Milk Duds.
Oh,
And they get stuck in your teeth.
dentist's
and
favorites.
I'm going to have to give the Milk Duds a 4, Frank.
I'm just kidding. I don't like those either.
If you guys have any ones that pop into your head, throw them out there.
Butterfingers.
That would get a strong, I would say 7.
I agree.
Yeah,
with
peanut
that.
butter. We
7
like
bloody
peanut butter.
knives, yeah.
What about raisins?
Fuck you and your raisins. That's
No
what I
raisins.
would say.
We don't like
That's gonna-
sun-made.
That's
No
Hey,
Jason masks for you.
What about raisinettes?
Hey.
2.
Oh, wow.
I'm
See,
not,
I thought you
no.
cover it in chocolate and it
Nah,
gets better.
No, the only grapes I like are in my glass.
Okay, gotta come with this. Nice and simple. Dots.
Dots.
Wait, to be clear, we mean dots like the little, the domed things, or the ones on the paper that you
The
pop
ones on the
off?
paper, that's garbage. I don't want to eat paper attached to my candy.
Agreed.
Get that out of
I
here.
agree
Not
with you.
those.
You always have paper on
The
back.
always. The
mean,
dome ones.
The dome ones kind of suck too, guys.
Oh, they're my
Oh,
favorite.
I'm with you.
I like dots.
I don't look like Reese's.
3.
Around Halloween, by the way, they make them only in the small boxes. They make blood orange dots. The whole box is blood orange flavored dots.
Delicious.
They're very good. John's like, they're still gross. Tom, you got one?
Candy corn.
Oh,
God.
I mean,
Please put it up there with those orange peanuts.
yeah, just for the nostalgia factor, I'd say a 1 bloodless knife, you know, but
I have a hard relationship with candy corn. I put it on my pizza.
oh,
What's the matter with you?
It's
you do
good.
not.
Yes, I do. A little sugar with the sauce. It's good.
They're literally wax.
It's
Does-
good in
does-
popcorn.
It is.
Does it even taste like corn?
No,
No.
not at all.
What does it
It's,
even taste
it's
like?
sugar.
You know why it's called candy corn?
No.
Because if you stack them in circles all the way up, it looks like an ear of corn. They're
Who's
individual
doing that?
pieces of corn.
Nobody's doing.
see, look,
Yeah, it's like a corn niblet.
The more you know.
Peeps.
Peeps is Easter.
You animal! Shut up,
Peeps,
Peeps.
is Easter.
That's the Lord's
They're-
holiday. You don't
they're-
bring up Peeps right now.
they're also terrible. So
I don't think
No.
I can live in this house
No.
anymore.
You're wrong.
His house is haunted for me.
A cursed
I'm
house.
with you.
I mean, honestly, any non-chocolate candy, they can like really go
God.
fuck themselves.
All right.
They
How about
hate America.
Mini Nestle Crunches.
We're getting back on track. I'm gonna say 5.
Okay.
Okay.
Three Musketeer bar.
Oh.
Come on.
Yes, for me.
I don't like them.
The fluff on
But
the inside.
I'll take a
I love
6
that.
for that.
6.
I'm gonna
Okay,
give
I
it a
love
6.
that.
All right,
fluff
wait. Then
on
I'm
the
gonna go
inside.
first. I like it better. I like a Snickers, but I like a nice little Milky Way better to me. Love a a dark chocolate Milky Way. Get out of here.
Oh, then he ruined it with the dark chocolate. I would say for a milk chocolate Milky Way, I'm gonna give it an 8.
You know, I'm a bit of a health freak, so dark chocolate's important.
But
to
see,
me.
these are all fun size.
I know, yeah. It's
But I
fine.
give anything that's a fun size less than a 5. Because guess what? It's not as fun. You're
see.
lying. It's
You're
not
correct.
as fun. A full size
Okay.
is fun size.
Correct.
And that'll always be true regardless of the context.
Danielle is perturbed.
I have
those-
one,
for those
but I don't
listening.
know if it's like a trick or treat candy. I'm
Okay.
just naming candy at this point. So, Twix,
Yeah.
they come in like
Yeah,
different
sure,
sizes.
they do.
But there's Twix caramel, but also Twix peanut butter.
Whoa.
Yeah, and that is
My
a Halloween. They do make Halloween size.
favorite.
I'm gonna give it a strong 9.
Yeah.
Bloody
A
9s.
9?
That's
Yeah.
right.
Oh yeah.
I thought she was gonna say Twix, but only the right one.
Yeah, only right Twix.
The left one's gross.
What about money?
Money. Well, are we talking change or are we talking like dollar bills?
Dollar bills. I know we already took pennies, right? Dollar bill.
Yeah, pennies suck. I'm gonna give dollar bills a strong 10 bloody knives.
But a quarter is nice.
No.
Use it for
cheap.
the meter.
Nope.
No, you like quarters?
You know what scares me?
What?
Hershey Kisses, not in the bag, individual by itself.
Yeah.
Poops my pants.
Why?
Because you don't know. You don't know if they like maybe lick them then rewrap them. Hershey Kisses, they're easy to
They're
open.
rewrapped.
No.
They're tight.
Can
A
you?
nice wrapped Hershey.
They have Hershey Kisses, if they're not in the bag, very easily will have the top open. Whether or not they
Yeah.
unwrap them and touch them, somebody
guess.
has come in
Guess.
contact with the top. But I agree.
Okay.
All right.
All right. How about
I have one.
Yeah. How about you do?
I have one. Picture this. Okay, everybody, close your eyes.
Okay.
You go up to the house. You knock on the door.
Let's do it.
You open the door, and the woman says, "What do you say?" And you say, "Trick or treat." And she gives you a nice spoonful of Chobani right in the bag.
Well, we are saying trick or treat, so she
Right.
opted for the trick.
It's
you
the
know?
trick.
Yeah.
And the trick is that if you were to eat it, though, it's delicious.
Correct.
So good.
One scoop right in.
we love Chobani.
We do.
Oh, Tom, pass me the yogurt. Okay.
Give us the yogurt, please. What about the gummy anything?
Yeah.
Do you like gummy stuff?
No.
Get out of my house.
No.
Oh, a nice gummy like
Get
a
out of my
Swedish
house.
fish.
No.
A
Swedish.
Swedish
That's
fish, you
different.
animal.
Come on,
That's
Swedish fish.
Swedish fish. I mean.
Oh, it's different.
But gummy bears?
Gummy
No,
bears.
no.
Haribo.
Get out of my
No,
house!
it's
you?
literally too much work.
You
to
are a
chew on
monster.
them.
All
I
right,
bet you're going to
Can
love
we
this
say this
last
one
one.
together?
Yeah.
Apples with razor blades.
12 fucking bloody knives. Yes.
Well, the thing is, they're like, be careful, they slip razor blades in the apples. Okay, once you give me a piece of an apple, I'm already going, okay, there's something up.
I'm already upset.
There's
Yeah.
something up here.
And
Totally.
dude, how thin is the razor blade that you don't see where it went into the apple?
Yeah, I don't...
How do you eat your apple?
They always
You just-
say- Okay, how about this? When your dad takes the candy bag from you and goes, I have to test to see if it's poison.
Think about this.
My dad used to say that all the time. He still says it. Hold on, just one piece. I gotta see if it's poison.
Yeah.
Halloween is a bit of you tell kids every day of the year you do not take candy from strangers. Halloween, dress up as a murderer, walk up to this house, eat the food they give you. What?
Yeah, that's true. You specifically take candy from strangers.
Completely.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Skittles?
Okay.
Skittles.
Wow. Scream Skittles.
Skittles because when you shove a whole crap load in your mouth, it's like juice.
It is.
It is like juice.
4.
Taste the rainbow, man.
Yeah, I mean,
What's your favorite kind of M&Ms? Quick.
peanut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Peanuts, the best. What about peanut butter?
Yeah.
Oh, I do
Reese's
enjoy
Pieces.
peanut. But then, yeah, hello.
No, but
it's
peanut
like
butter M&Ms are better than Reese's Pieces.
They're fuller
Agreed.
and a creamier peanut butter.
Yeah.
fuller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you crush them, they're delicate. Peanut butter M&Ms are delicate.
You
They're
ever-
all
you-
easily crushed.
You ever take two M&Ms and you smash them together to see who's the winner of the M&M, the one that doesn't break, and then
Yes.
you eat the loser?
John's like, am I the guest on this show, or are we just here talking about M&Ms?
So, John, you never did that? Okay.
So, what was your favorite Halloween costume you've ever been? Like going back to when you were a little kid.
Wow.
Or what are some you can think of? We'll all go around. What are some Halloween costumes you can think of?
like my top favorites,
Yeah.
I gotta say, I mean, my Negan was pretty sweet, but I was
Negan was
So
great.
good.
I'm looking for like more originality. Like last year, I did a Druid Priest. I kind of dug that,
nice.
but that was a little more nerdy out there. Like, you know, they're like, "What are you?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm a Druid Priest." They're like, "Why?"
It's like, what are you, cowboy?
Yeah,
Oh,
but yeah, I guess I'll go with Negan because it was pretty spot on.
Negan. That was great. It was really great. What about you, Danielle? Like, what were you when you were a kid?
I was a cat and I made the costume. It was really cute.
Wow.
I made the ears. with
Which
those
cat
little-
were you?
I was a black cat.
Rum Tum Tugger?
Mr. Mistopheles.
Mistopheles?
Oh God.
Jennifer Hudson as Mr. Mistopheles.
What were you, Matt?
My favorite costume as a little kid was when I dressed up as a generic frog.
I remember that, but that wasn't Halloween. That was like a Thursday.
Yeah. And then I also, when I dressed up as Beast from X-Men, was a good.
That was
a
great.
good
And you
time.
got blue paint
everywhere.
everywhere. His hands were covered. Everything he touched covered in blue paint.
Yep.
That's great.
Yep.
What about you, Frank?
One of the stupidest Halloween costumes I had as a kid in elementary school. I bought it. Obviously, I was a phone. So it was.
A rotary, or what were we talking?
In hindsight, it was like, hey, you're this cool modern phone, but it definitely was like this big wedding singer blocky 80s phone, like a Zach Morris. and literally, it was this big foam thing, and you went in it, and your face was in the receiver hole, and the buttons worked. And everyone thought it was just the coolest thing, and I walked around dressed as a phone.
Wow.
That's
And-
fantastic.
That's awesome.
No friends.
What about you, Tom?
The haunted mask from Goosebumps.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
And then my grandmother, it wasn't me. She made a satin Superman for my brother. She would do her own costumes for us. And my brother was the shiniest Superman, the most Italian
Every time
looking
he sit
Superman.
down, he just slide off the couch.
Yeah, right, exactly.
That's good.
John?
Wait, hold on. I want to ask Joe first. Joe, what about you? Oh, Ghost. Cool.
I have another one. I was actually Ghostface, and that was awesome because no one knew it was me.
But wait, were you Ghostface with the mask or the one where you push the button and the blood comes down? Do you ever see that one?
No, I was not that
the
fancy.
real one, the real
My
one.
mom
No,
would
you
not
had the
pay
real
for
one.
that. I wore Ghostface like, I don't know, 5 years in a row. It was fantastic. I scared everyone because no one expected to be a girl.
That's great.
That's great.
That's cool. I'm trying to think. So I have a bunch. So when I was a kid, I was just as original into dressing up Halloween as I am now. So if I can rattle them off, this was me between the ages of like, I would say 6 and 10, 11. I was Zorro. This is in 1994. Zorro, no context. I was C-3PO when no one knew our age what Star Wars was.
Wow.
The teachers were the only one in the school who knew who I was. All the kids thought I was the Tin Man.
Did you choose that, or did your parents?
I chose it.
That's-
I always chose my own costumes.
That makes
I
it
was
better.
Mr. Potato Head
Oh,
That's
my
amazing.
God.
with removable Velcro face pieces.
Wow.
Constant, yep. I was the Phantom of the Opera. If you remove the mask, I had a prosthetic mask under it that had the gross half of the face. I was Mr. Peanut.
Wow.
I think
hilarious.
I think twice. And I was Cousin It, and I wore 3 hula skirts, one on my waist, one on my
Amazing.
shoulders, and one on my head, and a hat. And I was Cousin It.
That's great.
I spent all of elementary school with no one knowing at all who I was ever.
Wow.
Everybody was like, I'm a sheriff, I'm a cop. And I was like, I'm Cousin It.
That's great, though. Are you kidding?
I'm the Phantom of the Opera. Like, oh, I'm a spaceman. Oh, cool.
Wow.
Yeah, so.
That's great. I always had to go with like homemade stuff when I was little, so I was like a friggin' vampire for like 8 years straight because it was just like a cape, and and then my mom was like, "You're a mobster." They just put me in a fucking suit and gave me like a plastic gun. And I thought it was all cool, and I was like, it was like a $2 like.
That's great,
It's
though.
fantastic. Love you, mom. No shade.
What we do in my family, we'd buy the costume, and then I have 2 younger cousins, And so if I was Mr. Potato Head, the next year Joey was Mr. Potato Head, and the year after that AJ was Mr. Potato Head.
There you go.
And so both of them have been everything that I've been, pretty much.
Wow.
Going down the line.
That's adorable.
You were a trend. You were an influencer.
Yeah, well, my mom we'd go to Party City and she'd just buy it off the shelf. And
Remember how
be like,
exciting that was? You pick it out on the big wall, then you got to go try it on in the little changing room, and the best.
That's
then
the
you got to get
best.
it back in the bag. The worst. Okay, can we play this game? Because I'm so into it, you have no idea. Are we play it? Okay.
Sure.
Okay, so John.
Another game right away.
Another game, because I'm
Wait,
so
no time.
excited to do this. So you're going to go around the room. Your options are Danielle, Frank, John, Tom, or Matt. And we're going to just read you some scenarios we wrote. And the game is called, Out of Us, Who's Most Likely to Die in This Situation?
Oh my god.
Okay. All right, here we go.
Use all your horror knowledge.
All your knowledge.
Oh
about it.
man.
Can you do the first one?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can pass it to me now. We're close to each other.
Okay, good. All right, here we go.
Okay. Having sex in the woods. Did you hear something?
So I'm picking who's gonna not survive this.
Who's gonna
situation.
die and how?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Having sex in the woods. Did you hear something?
Yeah.
So wow. I'm gonna say Frank is gonna get it with a spear through the back.
Yeah.
yeah.
And then I just collapse on her.
Exactly.
She will gets her too.
Or we'll go with
Right
the
through
Friday the
both.
13th killed right through the both.
Right
of
through
them.
both,
Yeah.
sure.
Right.
All right, I accept it. Here's the next one. When the super pretty girl in school becomes obsessed with you and carves your name into her stomach with a fork.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is this based on true scenarios, guys?
She's obsessed with whoever this is.
She is obsessed with whoever this is.
And she's gonna get you.
Wow. Okay.
Could be Frank again.
It could be Frank
Oh
again.
my god.
The comic relief almost never dies, and when he does, it's at the very end. So I think I'm all right.
These are the rules of a horror
These are the rules.
I
of the
think
horror
I'm
movie.
okay.
So who is it?
Yeah, I think it is gonna be you again,
And what
Frank.
happens?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be genital mutilation.
Wow. Wow.
Poor Jenna. Okay.
All right. When the kid next door has no whites to his eyes and you accidentally broke his bicycle.
Wow.
Wow. Okay, I think this is gonna be John who's gonna get this one.
Yep. And I definitely tripped over it by accident. Oh, can I do this next one? This one was my idea. He wanted me to cut this one.
Oh yeah, of course. Wait, we did. But how does John die here?
How does John
Oh,
die?
yeah.
A tire iron to the head.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, specific. Yeah.
Okay, you're boiling a lobster for a nice dinner. That's it.
All right.
How do you die?
How do you die? All right. I'm gonna give this one to Tom.
Tom.
And the head's gonna be pushed into the
Into the
boiling-
pot! Thank you! Well, we know Tom has a history with pasta water. So, yeah, well, he asked Josh Lockamy if it was alive.
Yeah. You can listen to that, season 1, episode 4. Okay. You buy a new house. You find a porcelain doll in the wall. You play with it.
Yes. This is Danielle is gonna get this one.
Yep.
And I
ready.
think it's gonna be by the doll coming to life and pushing her out of a 4th-story window.
Wow.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. The nuclear reactor melted, but you stay behind in your small town to find your lost dog.
Wow. Matt's gonna get this.
Matt, he knew it was coming.
He would. He'd be like,
sounds
but
like
I
me.
have to stay for the dog.
And we're gonna go with radiation poisoning. You know,
Oh.
it's horrible.
Oh, a
big
long-
blisters.
A long slow death.
It gets him 30 years later.
He finds the dog melted.
It's melted to the cage. Okay. Got a new job in Maine and moved your family into a Victorian house with see-through people who live in the shed.
Wow. This is oddly specific.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say this is gonna be Danielle and John.
Yeah.
And
before the death scene, he says, "Honey, just give it time. You're just nervous.
You don't know them.
You don't know them."
exactly.
All right, ready, Danielle? We just moved into the house. Honey, listen, don't worry about it. These people, they're not going to bother us, I don't think.
Yes, they are.
You think?
They've been watching us.
Yeah, but you could see they have good hearts because you see right through them.
No, absolutely not.
Excuse me. My name is Randy. I live in the shed. I just want to tell you, I think your lawnmower is going to need a new power cable soon. So.
Wow, thanks, Randy.
No problem. Also, I'm going to kill your wife tomorrow.
There you go.
There you go. Thank you. See.
Well, there you go.
I told you, Danielle. It's funny. Danielle had actually mimicked that she died right as soon as Randy walked in.
Yeah.
She knew.
Maybe his wife killed me.
She knew.
Before that,
No, she
and
knew.
then he's just attacking.
Yeah.
2 gas stations, but you insist on going to the one that's 5 cents cheaper, but creepier.
Yes. Well, first, there's going to be a creepy attendant there that's going to warn you not to go there because they're all going to die, which is a horror movie trope. And then he's going to shove the gas nozzle up your ass.
No. But you don't die until after.
Yike.
All right. How about this one? You got to fix the engine in the wood chipper.
Oh, man. Fantastic. Who's going to do this? I'm going to have to see John.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm impressed. I'm not handy at all.
That's why.
That's exactly why.
Yeah, I'd lose my handies. Go ahead.
We don't have to tell us. We obviously know how he dies on that one. They're so long. You wear a wig to look like your sister who was thrown from her hunky boyfriend's car while rounding Blind Man's Curve in 1984.
Wow. Oof. Well,
But how do you die?
can you repeat the scenario again?
You wear a wig to look like your sister who was thrown from her hunky boyfriend's car while rounding Blind Man's Curve in 1984. So you're trying to look like the sister.
Yeah.
Right.
The sister was thrown from the car.
Blind Man's Curve.
I see. So I think we're going to give this one to Frank, and he is going to drive headlong into a tree like Sonny Bono.
Oh, no!
That's a real thing. That's okay, though.
Wasn't Sonny Bono skiing?
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, horror comes from real life, guys.
But he hit a tree.
He was skiing, but, you know.
Okay. Here's our last one. The mirror talks back to you. So stupid.
That's it.
That's it.
Swallows you whole.
In the mirror.
I'm going to say all of us, right?
Everybody
yeah,
dies.
yeah, everybody dies, no survivors.
What happens?
We're gonna die like at the end of the Avengers and fucking poof out like
Everybody just dust.
that's
it.
it. We're
Okay.
dust.
Done.
What's your favorite horror movie trope of all of them?
Oh, the
Which one gives you the most pleasure to see?
I know mine.
What is it?
Once someone's having sex in the movie, they're dead.
They're dead.
It's
Yeah.
my favorite.
It's enjoyable.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's always
the
good.
best.
Like in Jason X when they're having sex in the tent, and then he slams them into the tree.
That's great.
That's
yeah,
great.
the body bag kill.
Body bag, yeah.
Oh,
or when he
so
freeze
good.
dries the girl's face.
Yeah.
And smashes the face. See, I've seen a lot of
You've
these.
seen a lot.
I have this thing. I don't watch horror movies, but I love to read the Wikipedia of what happens.
Oh.
I love it. I don't know why. I really enjoy it. It takes all the scare out of it, but I get all of the story. And then I look up scenes if they're intriguing to me.
I see.
Yeah. Yeah. Another
Well, then what's your favorite based on that?
What's your favorite Wikipedia entry?
it's not a trope, but my favorite thing is when they cast a comedic actor in a horror film. It's my favorite thing. Just I need to look and watch the scene where they die. I don't know why. Because you're seeing somebody completely do something totally out of their element. Like you put Jack Black in a horror movie.
Oh yeah.
It's great. Like I loved as a kid. And when I say loved, I meant watched one scene of him. Was like, House on Haunted Hill.
Oh.
Only because the ghost of Chris Kattan shows up at the end and saves the day.
Naturally.
And I was like, Chris Kattan dies in that movie. Or Owen Wilson dies in that movie too. Like I love it. I love for some reason when comedic actors die in horror movies.
I know how you're gonna die. when we were talking about when we were picking before.
Oh, I thought you meant in real life.
Oh no.
Hey.
You get a babysitting job in Haddonfield.
Oh, that would be my dream.
I tried to find, watching the new Halloween, which I did eventually watch bits and pieces of. I tried to find a little bit of where and why and how behind Michael Myers, which I thought this movie might have brought. And then he killed the woman in the window. Literally.
We've seen that scene.
So
We've
great.
seen that scene, I think, 7 times.
What
It's
happens?
always on, and we always watch it.
And I always go, but why did he kill her? And I think that's something that I'm learning about horror movies is there is no why.
Well, it's like that's kind of what ruins it. In the first one, you had no idea while he was running around and killing everybody, and then you find out in the sequels, and that's kind of what ruins the story. The more you know about the boogeyman,
Right.
the less scary he is.
But in this one, I thought they were trying to give him a why. And then he kills that woman for no reason.
yeah, I mean, in this new one, it's great because the original sequels made it that Michael and Laurie, who was, you know, the final girl in the first one, were brother and sister, and then this one erases that, and she was just a random victim. So it kind of took him back to where he was in the original. I kind of like that. I thought it makes it, the randomness of it makes it a little more
Are
frightening.
you the final girl?
Of course. I mean,
think?
actually, no. I'm the killer. Like, let's be real. Yeah.
Very good, very good. So, what I think I love about you as a horror fanatic, which you're my go-to horror guy because you understand both sides of it. Like a lot of people love horror movies in this very dark and brooding and depressing way where it's like they find comfort in the disparity of the whole thing. But you, I find, more than anybody I've ever met, approaches horror in such a weirdly positive light. Like, it's not, you don't love it because of the dark, broody, hot topicness of it. You love it because it's fun.
It is.
And, like, that's a new perspective for me that I don't know. I just think it's very, very, very cool change of pace for why you love it. You know?
Well, thank you. And it is true. I mean, you gotta laugh at things. Life is hard enough, right? So you don't want to get like buried under the you know, the tragicness of it. And half of these movies are hysterical. Like me and friends of mine, shout out to Rosa, Corey, and Anthony. We'll do like horror movie marathons, and Richard, who also doesn't really like horror movies, will come. And kind of like what you were saying when we watched Scream together, watching it as a community kind of takes the, you know, even more of the pressure out of it, and it becomes hilarious. Like, you know, the Hatchet series is also really funny. You know, it's kind of in line, I would say, with more, not exactly like the Evil Dead, but where it's kind of just, it's so larger than life and silly that, you know, you're just having a good time. It's really campy. It's really funny. And, you know, you gotta, you know, the one thing everybody's really afraid of in life is death, right? So horror movies is a way to kind of process and deal with that. So why not laugh at it? You know what I'm saying? It's going to happen. None of us makes it out of here alive. So, you know, have some fun while you're doing it, you know?
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I when I first met Danielle, I expressed the concept of, I remember it was one of the first conversations we had. I don't understand the concept of wanting to be scared. To me, that's not a positive feeling.
Right.
It's not fun. I don't want to be that. Like I said, but we were talking about roller coasters, different kind of thing. But like, why is that fun?
It's the adrenaline rush.
Yeah.
But I don't like that. I don't like it. I don't like. I want to know I'm okay.
But I think you get that same adrenaline rush from something else because you obviously get it, right? And
Sure.
People, they just associate that rush with a positive, and when it links to a horror movie. But it's probably the same feeling you get with other things.
But I understand it when I talk to John, because of the love for the fun
Yeah.
that it all has in it.
Like, I guess for you, I would equate it to like that kind of rush of nerves you get before you take the stage, right?
Right.
Keeps you coming back for it.
Sure.
That's the same feeling I get from watching an amazing horror film.
Right.
You know, one that really evokes, you know, a reaction because, you know, and if they're terrible, it's also fun. You know what I'm
if they're
saying?
terrible,
You
it's even
just
better,
laugh
right.
at it. It's just like some of the creature features and ridiculous things that people come up with. I mean, it's all good in the end. Like, it's just about having a good time. So
amazing.
that's your kind of
Yeah.
rush, and I watch slutty babysitters get murdered. So I mean, like,
So you have parlayed your love for horror into sort of an Instagram influencer of types. Those are my words. They're not your words, so you don't have to worry about it. I'm saying it. So you've created this Instagram persona of the Boogie Bear. Is that right?
yes, sir, the Boogie Bear.
I'm gonna follow you right now.
And so tell us a little bit about that.
Well, that came about because I go to so many horror conventions and I love the genre so much that I kind of just wanted to, share it with people that have the same interest. And Instagram's really been blowing up. It seems to be everyone's preferred social media platform. So, I've met like horror legends through these conventions. Like just this weekend, I was at Monster Mania. And I met Bruce Campbell, who's the star of the Evil Dead series. I met most of the Scream cast. So I'm able to kind of post pictures and my experiences up there and kind of like give a little bit of horror history, horror knowledge, and it's kind of really taken off. So, I'm at about 1,700 followers, and when I started a few months ago, I had like, my mom and my friends.
Yeah, no, it's
Wow,
really
there's hope for
So,
us.
it's been catching on. So I'm really proud of that.
Yeah, well, I think that positivity I was talking about shows through there. I mean, you're seeing somebody have fun in the community.
Yeah.
And also, and I know you don't like to say that you represent, but you also represent a demographic that isn't always, quote unquote, represented in the horror community.
Sure.
I mean, we had Richard on. So anybody who's a listener of the show knows all about bears.
Right. So everyone knows.
And like I said, I know that that's not your particular, like,
You don't lead with it.
lead with that.
No.
But it opens you up to that community. Because I know that horror, especially in the LGBT community, I don't know why especially, but it's something I've noticed, really connects with a lot of folks in that community.
Yeah. It's more because, any kind of monster hides in the shadows, can't really, walk amongst the people freely. So there's always been a bit of a connection there with, LGBT people and like, monsters. Like, vampires can only come out at night. And a lot of gay people, especially in the past, could only literally come out at night and be who they were. So,
And like most gay men, they don't like garlic.
correct. So there's definitely a long tradition of that. And, but a lot of gay people feel that there's not enough quality representation in horror of themselves. It's kind of the same thing that a lot of African-American people felt. And it's certainly changing, especially, with movies like Get Out and Us,
Yeah.
and The Shape of Water winning an Oscar. It's getting a lot of more visibility. So, yeah, I just want to show that gay horror fans exist, and it's we love it just as much as everybody else does. It's just. And we want to place at the table too. So I know Shudder, which is a streaming service for horror movies, they have a documentary out now called Horror Noir, which traces Black history in cinema and horror. And they're working on a queer version of that too. I actually met up with the editor of Fangoria magazine, who's helping put it together. So that's really exciting. That's coming down the pike. It's going to be like a whole documentary about queer people in horror. I mean, there's some huge names. We talked about Scream, which was written by Kevin Williamson, who's a gay man, and Clive Barker, who gave birth to Candyman, and Hellraiser is a gay man. So it's like, we're there. Even in Universal, the classic horror movies, Frankenstein was directed by James Whale, a gay man. You know what I'm saying? So we've always been there.
An argument for Vincent Price.
Yeah, well, and yeah, so we've always been there. The recognition isn't always where it's needed to be, and it's not about being even political about it. That's why I don't lead with it, but I think it's important for people to see someone that looks like me and acts like me can also be gay, so
Yeah.
follow me on Instagram at the Boogie Bear, TheBoogeyBear.
Get on it. Definitely.
Yes, please.
You also have some exciting news that's sort of related to all this. So do you want to share whatever you can about
Yeah,
that?
whatever little bits you can.
I do. I got to kind of keep it a bit under wraps, but I can exclusively reveal on the Nothing Podcast.
Wow.
If you guys would like to visit the site called standthemechanic.com, there'll be some exciting news about an LGBT-themed horror program that I'm working on. We already have a home for it at Here TV, and we'll be developing it for launch next Halloween season, but we're starting to get the buzz and awareness out there this Halloween season.
Awesome. Yes. So you can go to Stan the Mechanic.
Yep, standthemechanic.com.
And you can get on board now.
Yes, please, if you'd like, sign up with your email address, and we'll keep you updated with all the latest and greatest.
And now this is we can't talk too much about it, but this project is partially aimed at the LGBT community, but not exclusively aimed at the community. Is that correct?
Right. Thank you for saying that. Yeah, not at all. It's meant for everybody. It's just gonna happen to be what I can say about it is it's a horror hosting kind of show. Now, I'm sure some listeners will be familiar with people like Elvira, who's my idol, and Joe Bob Briggs, who's been hosting shows on Shudder, and even Svengoolie, who I really think you'd love, John.
Mm-hmm.
He's a great character actor out of Chicago. In that great tradition, you watch the movies with these fun, crazy characters that kind of make light of the movie and give you little bits and pieces behind the scenes. Stan is a takeoff on that, but from an LGBT perspective, and you can expect some fun insights, campiness, and chest hair.
Definitely.
Wow,
Lots of
there it
chest
is.
hair. Yeah,
It's going to be exciting.
Yeah.
It's going to be exciting. All right. Well, that's fantastic. We look forward to that. Want to thank you for being here. I'd like to end. We'll go around, see if you want to give your best Scream Queen horror scream.
Tom is scrambling right now at the soundboard.
We're going to end with you, John. If that's
Okay.
all right.
sure.
Okay, we're going to start with Matt.
It's not gonna be good.
It could be real low.
Yeah.
No, it'll be high.
So we're doing high Scream Queens. Okay, we got it. All right. Here's Matt.
I love it. Tom, can you do one? Frank, go ahead. You want to go?
I'm doing it? Oh, God.
It's really good.
That was actually really good. I'm proud of what I just did.
I'm gonna go. Ready?
That's the mildly inconvenienced victim.
All right, Tom. What do you got?
Wow.
That's a butch woman.
Danielle's right. We probably should have warned the neighbors.
Danielle? Oh my God, changing her position.
I used to have to practice this when I was in Cooper's.
She's literally getting into
I'm gonna
position.
close my ears now.
Wow.
It's so good.
I'm so sorry.
Okay. Yeah, bang on the
Okay.
floor. That's gonna make him reassured.
I just texted right before incoming loud. By
Yes.
Okay.
Smart.
the way. Okay, John, you can give us yours, and then we'll.
That's probably gonna suck compared to all those.
Wait,
Okay.
why don't we end it like this? Can we each, not John, we each go around and we say our most menacing goodbye, John.
Oh yeah.
And then you do the
you'll
scream.
Okay, Matt, go ahead.
Goodbye, John. Goodbye, John.
Goodbye, John.
Bye, John.
Goodbye, John. Thank you. Follow Boogie Bear on Instagram. Yay!
And happy Halloween!
You've been listening to the Nothing Podcast with Nobody Important, a cool side production hosted by John Panepinto and Frank Caiati, with contributors Matt Hunt, Joe Hagopian, and me, Danielle Rose Fisher, and engineered by Tom Zaccheo. Find us online at nothing-podcast.com, and be sure to rate and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever fine podcasts are distributed.